Alrighty, let's do a fast run through. One of the things I love about this bad boy is, I think you can see this. I'm gonna check this big old giant rod of titanium up. It's much cheaper to buy in bulk. So, got a 1-inch piece we're working with. Put that baby in there. Get this out of the way. Super fast. Now, let me make sure. Oh yeah, that's a good view. So, we already got a nice faced off piece. It's clean. I usually do that after every one I make, so we're gonna just start with the centering drill first. That way the drill bit's nice and happy. So let's do this. Make sure everything's clear here. We're good to go. That's all I ever do. Just a little poke. Just a little poke. This thing's not really meant to be drilling with. Just trying to go as fast as possible here to show you actual time. Here's my favorite drill bit ever. It's drilled so many holes. Old Faithful. So now we're gonna go for it. And again, we're at 150 RPMs right now. We're just gonna feed this bad boy in. Hopefully I'm not blocking this right now, but that's 20 millimeters deep. Do the A-bomb way. Break it loose and just slide it right back. So, A-bomb 79 does that. Really like that trick. That way your bit's not lingering in there, creating any excessive unneeded heat. So next up, I'll jump up to this. Yes, it's an end mill, but I bought a set that didn't work, so I drill with them now. So we're going from 3/8 up to, I'm not sure, I think this is a 1/2 inch end mill. But we're going to ram it through about 20 millimeters deep. And this is grade 2 titanium, so it's pretty soft stuff. There's our 20 millimeters. Back it out. Would be nice to not have to use a wrench on this, but someday I'll get fancy with it. Now for the big boy. This one will take us pretty close to our final size. Oh yeah, this is 11/16. Pretty big sucker. But you don't want to go too close in your drill sizes. Man, this thing's gonna pull some serious. Let me just, before I open my mouth. Okay, yeah, 1755. We're shooting for size 8 ring today. Let's go. Shred master. Oh man. So once in a while, you'll get. I think I'm probably getting too carried away over here just for video's sake, anyways. Trying to show off how cool this thing is, and I'm just being sloppy. So let's try this again. I guess it's good to have outtakes. Not everything's perfect. That's completely my fault. I was feeding it way too fast. I was trying to show off, and I failed. Hopefully I can redeem myself and it'll start drilling again. There we go. So, I was just feeding too fast. Go in about 20 millimeter. That's close enough. way through. So now we're done with drilling. We'll just push this bad boy out. Now we are going to bring this thing out. Now I think I'll make another video for setup purposes and whatnot. But let me plug my charger in. Poor thing's gonna die. Let's get you closer. So I zero this with my, I like to put the dial indicator and run it back and forth. I could make a video of that, but for this sake I'm not going to. But the tool post stays perfectly square. Let's do a face cut real quick just to make sure. This is my facing one, and this is my actual turning one. And the thing I like is it ends up using the unusable corners of this CCMT style insert, whereas you'd usually only get 2 cutting edges. With these 2 combined, I get to use all 4. Now, I'm not really worried about not having a quick change tool post. As you see, that's pretty quick. And if you keep this centered, or zeroed, you don't really have to mess with anything else. Now I'm going to change the belt speed, because now that we're turning, we're going to go up higher. A lot of people with this lathe, they're like, oh, the belts, oh. Watch how quick this is. You just lift it up, derail it, switch the other one. Now we're good to go. Now we have 300 RPM. That's what I machine titanium at. Any faster and you're just going to burn your tools up. I'm trying to get it good. I think you can kind of see there. So we're just going to face this off real quick. It might not need it, but yeah, it actually does. So done with the face cut. Let's turn the outside. So if this is a size 8, it's going to be 18.2 millimeter. So if we want a 3 millimeter thick ring, plus 6, so I'm gonna do some finger math right here. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 24.2 outer is gonna get us a 3 millimeter thick ring. I'll just do that to make things simple for the sake of the video. So 24.2. We're at 25.3 right now, so let's take a couple cuts. First off, as always, touch off, just so you can get zeroed. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can see that. Let me move it a little bit more. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna pull 15 thousandths because we're pretty close. We're pretty close to the total size we want. I don't want to blow it. And then let's make this a 10 millimeter ring. Super sketch, not really all that safe, but reach over, just kind of mark where I want it. It's usually a bad idea to grab this swarf, because if you get your fingers stuck and it through the tool, you don't want that. I don't want to show any bad practices in the video, so I'll keep that stuff out. So there's my final. I'm gonna back off. The cool thing about this is if you're making multiple passes, you can look at this gauge right here. Hopefully you can see this. You look at this gauge, and so each time you get to the set number, you know when to shut it off and it'll stop perfectly. That's more helpful for inner diameter boring, but it is cool. The mini lathe doesn't have that feature, so something I really like, so you don't mingle up your boring bar. So we're at 25 even. Let's go ahead and pull 15 more thousandths. That should put us right where we want. Should do a lot more math. That way you can do a single pull, but I'm tired. I just got off work. It's fun making this stuff anyhow. Now, I need to get a mount so I can put the camera up top. Otherwise, I'm looking in the screen, you really can't see all that much right now. But I'll try to get a better view in a second. So, stop our cut right there. take a measurement, and I think that should be about what I want. 24.2, perfect. I'll take it. Now, you got two options at this point. You can part it off and machine the inside in the jaws, or you can machine it in here because it's perfectly true. You just machine this, so if you machine the inside, it'll be perfect. But you can also accidentally bump it. So 17. I got a little more room to pull off. I'll do a pass or two with the boring bar before I cut it. Now, it's kind of weird. 1/2-inch boring bar needs this much shim to center. Not really sure why, but I do this for fun. I'm not a machinist. So we're gonna put this in, and again, since my tool post is perfectly squared, I can just switch between my tools and everything works great. So I'm gonna do this, stand on the other side of the camera. Again, for the inside, we're just going to do a touch off, find out where we're at, come in with it, wait till it starts scraping. Right there. Now, I don't really have a whole lot of material, so I'm only going to do a 10,000ths pass here. And on the first cut, I like to look, I like to look down this way to see how deep I'm going, and then compare it to the scale. That way each time I go in, I don't pass it on the scale down here. But sometimes I'm sure you can measure. There's other things you could do. Again, I do this for fun, so I might not be using everything properly. And I manually feed it in. So right now I can't see. I'm just going to go till I feel it bottom. So there's bottom right there. And with it bottomed, it's 20,000ths on the scale down here. So that's helpful for the next time. And the only problem is I forgot what number I was on just now. Talking. I usually re-zero my scale, but since I'm on video, you're catching me slipping just a little bit. So that's just about almost 18 millimeter. We're almost to a size 8, not quite. So I messed up, and I don't remember where my 0 was on this, so I gotta refine that. That's as easy as just slowly turn until you hear it scratch. Right about there. So I'm gonna go 5,000ths on this pass just to clean it up. And then the nice thing is I don't even have to look over here. I can just look down on this dial on the carriage, and when it gets to the 20,000ths mark, I want to stop it a little prior to that, otherwise it'll fully bottom out. Yeah, perfect little curl. Should be breaking chips, but I'm not turning anywhere fast enough for that, nor am I really concerned. So we're coming up on it. It's the 10,000ths right now, so I'm gonna stop it right there. I don't want to go too far. So I'm just gonna use this for my gauge. So this is what I'm trying to machine it to. I think I messed up. I could have pulled just a little bit more off. Yeah, I think I could have pulled just a tiny bit more off, so let's do 5,000ths more, and then we'll be done with it. Trying to go for maximum speed here, but I'm also trying to film the whole process, whereas usually I plan it out a little better. But we're moving right along. Only a couple minutes so far to get to this point. Oh, bird's nest. stop it right there. And now we are done. We're done boring. Because now it fits. It's good. That's what we want. So we're going to take the boring bar out because we're done with it. Now, at this point, you have a couple options. You can cut a groove in it now if you want to do like an inlay style ring. A lot of different things you could do. I'm just gonna make a standard flat bevel ring for the sake of the argument, just to show. Let me see if I can get you over here to my sharpening setup. Little wood tool setup. So I'm gonna part this off, but my parting blade's in horrible shape. Poor thing's been overheating and burnt up from the last one I did yesterday, so I just tune it back up. High-speed steel, it dulls rather quickly, but man, it's cheap. So much cheaper than carbide for parting. So I just use a 3/8 holder. I couldn't find a 1/2 inch, so it takes a 1 shim to center this perfectly. And again, I can skip a lot of steps here because my tool post is always square. I never touch this handle. I can just throw my parting blade in here and go to town, start to cut. Unlike some of the other setups that some people run, you'd have to readjust. I found it's very effective this way not to. So let's go for, what, 8mm wide? That's pretty popular. So nice thing with this thing is it's rigid enough. Whatever I set it to, I'm gonna get. And then there's a carriage lock right here. Mine's probably full of stuff, but you put a little 5mm Allen in it, crank that bad boy down, and then usually I turn my speed down when I part, but oh well, I'm just gonna do it. At most I might end up burning my bit a little bit. I think it's hard to see because I have tape around this. I think that'll work. All right, let's see what happens. Usually I'd put something in here to catch it, but it's hard with this, so let's see if I can make it through on one try without a resharpen. I think it's gonna do it. There it goes. So just like that, she's parted. Again, it's grade 2. I really like grade 2. It's nice and soft, and it's unalloyed. So for sensitive skins, it's one of the better ones. Whereas grade 5 has some alloys in it to make it stronger. So we're done with the parting tool. Now, usually I'd face this off and clean it up, but I'm doing a video right now, so I'm gonna take the stock out. We're done with this big bad boy. Usually I gotta find my ring when it falls, so now we're left with a pretty decent little blank. Let's cut some chamfers on this thing. My tool of choice is the boring bar. Everybody has their own ways, but I like to do the boring bar for chamfers. So again, if you're using a 1/2 inch one, you'll need the two little shims. And since the whatchamacallit, yeah, I don't even know what I was gonna say. Cool stuff. Oh, I missed a step. This is how I would usually center it. It's horribly inaccurate, but it works good for me. So I'm actually gonna cheat. I have this ring mandrel. Where in the world is my camera? Here it is. I have this ring mandrel that I have a full set, so I don't use anymore. This one's turned down for a size 8, and what I like about it is the ring hangs off, so I can cut my chamfers on it, my inside and my outside, which is amazing. So let's check this thing up. Otherwise, you can cut your inner chamfer, clamping it in here. But if you do your mandrels like this, this is why I've been making my own. This is why I've been making these, because then I can put the different sizes on and cut them like this. I just really like it. Saves me a lot of time. So just want to make sure she's good and snug, and then spin it up, see what it looks like. It's got some hop to it. Could be Could be a number of things, really. If you want to get real particular, you can put the forger on and make this step perfect. Let's just spin this just a little bit. Let's see if we can get this better looking. That's pretty nice. It's probably going to be amplified on the camera and look horrible. But oh well. So, you can cut inside chamfer first, outside, doesn't really matter. I run my compound at all times at 25 degrees. That's the chamfer I like to cut. I found that works the best for what I like in them. So what I do, sometimes I lock the carriage, sometimes I don't. I'm not really concerned about it today. I'm just kind of doing a video. So you're going to work both. Hopefully you can see both in here. I think you can. You're going to work both of these. The slide? I'm probably saying it wrong. This one's going to be the depth of your chamfer, and then the cross slide, or the compound. The compound is going to be your actual chamfer angle. So just kind of do it by feel. And spin it up, and on the first go, you just kind of want to nick it. Just like that. Just nick it a little. And then I do 5/1000ths at a time. You can do 10. Just depends on how rigid your mandrel is. If the mandrel flexes, you could really jack it up here. So I'm gonna go 10 more thousandths. Usually I like to feed it with 2 hands so it's nice and consistent, but I don't want to get my hand in the way of the camera. So as you can see, it's not perfectly true because it's a little wobbly. Sometimes to fix that, you can take it off, rotate it 180 degrees, and then the next time you cut it, it's nice and perfect. Let me see if I can make a nicer cut with this. So real slow and steady feed rate is what you want. So there's my inside chamfer, and then I will usually hand sand those out, make them nice and round. Now to cut the back, you throw the lathe in reverse because you're going to cut the back side of it. And then same concept, exact same concept, except you're turning in reverse now. This thing comes with locks on it. You might want to leave them on. Mine are taken off right now because YOLO, I suppose. But so reverse. And then we're looking to nick it. I can't really see. Oh, I got a ways to go. So I can see I have some run out in this, but I'm just basically showing you how all the stuff works. Hopefully I'm not spending too much time in any one area. So I want a little bit more aggressive bevel. Now, with the run out that this has, let's go ahead and try my theory. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're gonna go ahead and spin this. Usually I'd mark it with a Sharpie, but again, I'm just trying to make a quick video for you. Whoops, it's going the wrong way, dummy. Put it in reverse. It won't cut too well if you go the wrong way, let me tell you what. That's not horrible. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible either. So, we have one side bevel cut. Flip it over. Let's do the others. We're already set up for outside right now, so let's finish the outside up. I pulled quite a bit of material off that other one, so we're just gonna eyeball it. Usually I do it with the calipers, but she is wobbly too. super dangerous. I think this will be our final pass right here. Whoop, I went too wide. Maybe they're equal. But I would rotate it, try to make it more perfect. But again, for argument's sake, I'm just going through the functions. Now we're going to go forward. Now, had I spent a couple extra minutes and actually properly centered this thing, I would be able to present you a finished ring that at this point would only need just a little bit of sanding. Got our two nice bevels, got our inside comfort fit, and then I totally just kind of eyeballed the thing so I can machine it later if I wanted to. But hey, look at that. It's after sanding, this thing will be a perfect size 8. So I did stop just in time. That's cool. But yeah, so that's how easy it would be. And then usually I would come over to the mini lathe at this point and sand it, because I don't really like sticking my fingers in this thing. It's a little big and intimidating. But yeah, that's how you do it.